friends, and welcome back to the Imago Nutrition Podcast. It has been a minute, but we are back. Danielle, it's good to see you. We have had some crazy busy months in life and school and now summer, and things have just been happening. And so one of the benefits of running your own podcast and not having a producer yell at you is sometimes we just take breaks, and it's mostly my fault. But it's good to be back. How are things up in the St. Louis area?
Pretty good. We've had a mild summer, actually. Some rain, so my grass is actually still green. This has never happened.
We have had so much rain down here in Tennessee. If you're new to the show, I'm down in the Nashville area. Danielle is in the St. Louis area. We run Imago Nutrition together. We are brother and sister-in-law with the same last name, but that's because she married my brother. And so good to be with you. Good to jump into a fun topic. And so it is summer, as I said. And by the way, this is the Imago Nutrition Podcast. I forgot our tag. See, it's been so long. I forgot to do that. This is where we answer your questions, and give you practical strategies to help you and your family flourish. And so on that side of things, interesting topic because it's summer, right? We both have kids. You've got two boys. I've got two boys and a baby girl, and we are in the throes of summer, right? It's July, which means it's hot. But there's tons of activities. Hopefully your kids are getting out wherever you live. Hopefully they're getting out as often as possible, whether it's going to the pool, whether it's going, on trips or camping or vacations or summer sports, whether they're outdoor or indoor, whether they're doing personal training during the summer, whatever they're doing, getting out and about and having a good time. That's what summer and childhood should be all about. And, adults hear a lot about hydration, and you should be staying hydrated. And we're always trying to figure out, do I need to drink a gallon a day, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know. I'm a parent, and I'm susceptible to all the same marketing that, listeners are, and you are, Danielle. And I don't know if I've heard much, if any, advice on the front of child hydration. I think we all just kind of default to some things that maybe we knew as kids, or, we're just over there chugging Gatorade because we just went outside and played or something like that. So we're going to dive into specifically child hydration. It's in the season of summer, but this is also applicable year round, because as soon as it starts getting cooler outside doesn't mean that your body doesn't need to be hydrated. And obviously hydration is really the foundation of life, right? Apart from air, it's a thing that we can't go without for the shortest amount of time, right? And so it's incredibly important for way too many reasons to list here. So we're just going to keep it practical. And Danielle's going to help lead on this front. And so, so it's summer, kids are out, it's hot. We need to stay hydrated. Specifically, we need to also help keep our kids hydrated. So Danielle, I think we've got kind of like 3 buckets, correct me if I'm wrong, just in terms of a roadmap of like what you can expect from this episode. We're going to start talking a little bit about, remind me of the first one.
Preventing.
I was going to say, I was missing the word, but identifying, preventing dehydration, but identifying some signs of need of hydration, right? Yes. Love that. And then we're going to talk a little bit about kind of what to choose in terms of hydration. I think there's going to be some surprising pieces there. What will not be surprising is, yes, we recommend drinking water. And so that third piece is going to be making water, fun for kids, because water is often an analogy for the most boring things in life, right? And so, yet it's the foundation of biology and human physiology. And so we will talk about, because even adults don't drink enough water. And so trying to make that fun for kids can be tough. So let's start with sort of preventing dehydration / identifying, the need for hydration. We'll go into kind of some techniques and strategies for what to choose, and then we'll talk about making water fun. But why don't you take it away? I've been talking too much already.
That's okay. So I think what's interesting to point out, the signs for dehydration for us as adults versus kids. We're talking about kids as young as infants. So those are probably the hardest to, they can't verbalize, I'm thirsty. So what are some signs of dehydration for our little ones? So dry tongue and dry lips would be one. No tears when crying. That is interesting. I did not hear of that one before.
That is terrifying. I've never
That's,
thought about that. That just sounds bad.
yeah. Fewer than 6 wet diapers per day. I remember that, as a new mom, or no wet diapers in 8 hours.
Mm.
And then sunken spots, soft spots on the infant's head, sunken eyes, dry, wrinkled skin, dry, rapid breathing, or cool, blotchy hands and feet. So those all sound pretty scary, honestly. We kind of just like, whoa, no tears when crying. So, like, when do you start to get concerned about dehydration? When they won't take anything to drink for a few hours, or when they're having GI issues or like diarrhea for more than 24 hours is concerning for dehydration, or when they're irritable, disoriented, or much sleepier than usual is another time to be concerned. When they can't keep fluid down, so again, that's kind of year round. When you're at the flu, that's a time to be concerned about dehydration. And again, the fewer than 6 wet diapers per day or less than 3 wet diapers in 24 hours for toddlers. So those are kind of just those things to look for and when to be concerned, because it is a lot different for us as adults. We might just get headache or fatigue or dizzy and lightheaded. So, yeah. Any
Wow.
questions about that?
Fascinating. No, we're out of the baby phase on our end. I know you are as well. And so, yeah, we haven't had that consideration in a while. We've got, 15, 13, and 9, but those are intense. I was a little taken aback, to be honest. Like I
Yeah.
didn't review your notes before that. And that
Yeah.
came out pretty crazy.
Intense. Yeah, my oldest did like have a little lightheaded this summer when he was doing a PE camp for 3 hours a day. And so, yeah, it's a challenge to keep up with the water because they don't want to stop. If your kids love activities, it's hard to get them to stop and drink some
Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
So
Very cool.
anyway, yeah. So as you mentioned, we do want to drink water first. It's good for our joints and teeth and helps our bodies, our blood circulate. And it's also really helpful for your kids, as you saw in the signs, helpful for concentration and focus. So if they feel disoriented, that's why. Um, So, of course, we're choosing breast milk or formula for those infants. And then at 6 to 12 months is when you introduce those sips of water. And then, as you get older, there's this. 5 governing bodies got together and established child drink guidelines. And a lot of people do not know about these. But these child drink guidelines go from 0 months to 5 years. And then after that, 6 years plus, it's per dietitian recommendations of, how much to drink sometimes, how much to drink always, and what to avoid completely. So as far as we'll just start with the 2 to 3 year olds. With the 1 to 2 year olds. 1 to 4 cups of water daily is recommended. And then there's also milk. You can get hydrated from milk, so 2 to 3 cups of milk daily. Then for 2 to 3 year olds, 1 to 4 cups daily and up to 2 cups of milk. Again, that's hydration. Those are the things we're drinking always, and we're limiting fruit juice. And then we go to 4 to 5 year olds, and their recommendation is 1.5 to 5 cups of water daily and up to 2.5 cups of milk. And again, we're still limiting juice. And the limiting of juice is not actually because of added sugar, because if you're choosing 100% fruit juice, it's not considered added sugar. It's because they're empty calories. We're not feeling satisfied. We're not getting fiber. We're not getting protein. And then that just causes a child to possibly go off of their growth curve when we're having more juice than recommended. So, any questions about
Interesting.
those recommendations?
No, I kind of know where we're going. I did at least know a few things about where we're going. So I'm fascinated with what's to come next too, is, we've got the water, but there's other ways to get hydrated too. To your last point about like, they're not getting filled up, they're not getting satiated. That has obviously short and long-term ramifications. So I'm excited for the next piece, because we know we've got water. Now we kind of know what that water intake should look like for the kiddos.
Yeah.
But there's more than water, right?
Right. But before we move on, as you said, water can be boring for kids and adults. So what
Let's
can
do that.
we do
Let's do
about
that.
that?
Do that.
So one, offer infused water. So this can be really fun. I think most people think about this as for adults, but this can be really fun for kids. They see like, oh, those things are floating in my water, like cucumbers or strawberries or berries. So just come up with a simple, fun recipe, just basically floating pieces of fruit or veggies in a pitcher of water in the fridge overnight. Ideally, you're going to get most of the flavor there.
Yep.
Another option is to just add a splash of fruit juice to the water. So again, you'd be hitting your goal of limiting to a half a cup or 3/4 of a cup, depending on age, but you're just giving that splash of fruit flavor without spending all the money on those bottled fruit. Like I think there's fruit water, in a bottle that you could buy, but obviously you're going to save on plastic and money by just doing it at home in a glass of water. Just fill up with water and then a splash of juice. You could make, go ahead.
I was just going to say on that too, like when water is your foundation and when that is your go-to, quote unquote, just a splash of fruit juice is actually like really great. Right. So it's like it's also frustrating for parents when it's like, and maybe you can speak to this real quick on the fly. We didn't maybe prepare for this, but that's the nature of where we are today on this podcast. And so talk to me about someone that perhaps right now their kid drinks a ton of fruit juice, a ton of Gatorades or whatnot, right? Like how do you then work them back to a more appropriate? And we were actually just riffing. We were talking about something else before we hit record, right? We were just talking about how like, Americans look at portions and like what we recommend. They're like, oh, that's so small. It's like, no. You've been accustomed to really outsized proportions, right? Of your food.
Yeah.
So what happens when a kid is very accustomed to outsized proportions of very sweet drinks and doesn't want to just start only drinking water, but we want to get them to that place where sprucing it up with just a little fruit juice is like a luxury. It's like amazing. Like cucumber in your water is great. So maybe if you can just on the fly, I'll put you on the spot, kind of talk about a strategy or two to like help in that regard.
Yeah. So I would take whatever they're currently doing, say they're doing, 2 bottles of Gatorade a day, then just slowly add water to that Gatorade. So, I also have, thanks to my neighbor, a really fun Gatorade recipe. It's basically you just take the lemonade and black cherry juice, and you have equal portions and you mix that together. What's great about that is you can add you can add as much water as you want to that. So you're giving your child, you can call it professional Gatorade if you'd like. Professional athlete Gatorade. Really encourage the children there. It does mine. Anyway, just you would just gradually add more water to answer your question, Mark. And then they're going to just get used to a little less sweet taste. And you would do the same thing like when you're switching milk or switching to a lower sugar oatmeal or what have you, just to gradually adjust the taste buds. Because going from something sweet to water, that's not going to go over very well.
And that's a lesson for adults too. And that is so much of what we talk about is about slow, sustainable change. And Americans in particular, just like they'll listen to a podcast, get all stirred up, get all inspired, and be like, we're done with all fruit juice, where they throw it out, like we're drinking water, and that lasts all of like 12 minutes, and like, I missed the flavored stuff. We're never talking about like doing the classic American thing where you swing from one side of the pendulum to the other. And so same with kids, you can slowly graduate, and I like that too. It wasn't about like pulling back on the juice necessarily. It's about adding the water, like quote unquote, diluting it so that they, again, you allow for your taste buds to adjust. And parents know this. We pretend like we don't when it comes to these things, but there isn't a single person listening to this podcast that drinks coffee that had black coffee for the first time. It was like, man, this is delectable. This is the greatest thing I've ever tasted. No, we all, myself included, We all slowly acclimated to it over time.
Mm-hmm.
Wine. No one drinks wine for the first time after never having wine. Is like, this is so amazing. No. We were kids. We were drinking fruit juice and Sprite and all that sort of stuff. No one just started drinking whiskey and was like, oh, my taste buds enjoy this. No, we all had to acclimate to stuff, right? And
Yeah.
so we've all acclimated. So take that learning into, some of these
Mm-hmm.
healthful,
Mm-hmm.
transitions that can help your kids obviously in the long run. So, okay, that was my little rant.
Yeah, one more tip on that question you had as how to help your kids drink more water and less Gatorade or juice is first start with taking it out of the container. If they're seeing it in the Gatorade bottle, it's going to be really hard to add water. So,
True.
first start by just pouring the Gatorade in front
Yep.
of them, pouring it into a cup, and then gradually add. You can start with like a fourth of a cup of water or a tablespoon of water and then keep adding,
Yeah,
a little bit
totally.
more. Here's another one. Fun to take like small berries, like raspberries, and put them in ice cube trays, and then freeze that, and they have
Mm.
a berry stuck in an ice cube. Really fun for toddlers. And then you could buy a new or fun water bottle for kids, and make sure that you're leading by example and bringing your water bottle everywhere you go. My kids, I bring water bottle to church, and they think they can just drink mine, and I'm like, if you drink mine, you're going to give me a hand massage. So you better bring your water bottle to church. Which reminds me that studies show that the sooner you start, the younger your kids are used to bringing their water bottle everywhere,
Mm.
the more likely they're going to continue drinking water as they get older. So
Yep.
start young and start that frequency high
Yep.
everywhere you go. Yeah.
Yep.
And then other one could be set timers for water breaks. I really should have done that this summer for my
Mm.
kids. Stop. You need to stop for a second and drink some water. So that is how to make water more fun.
Very cool. Very cool. And so I was getting ahead of myself. And so we know that water is necessary. It's your go-to. There are fun
Mm-hmm.
ways to infuse it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Literally,
Yep.
infusion, ice cubes, all this sort of stuff you talked about. And so, but at the same time, water exists in foods, right? It
Yeah.
exists, and hydration in general
Mm-hmm.
can be achieved other ways. So talk to us a little bit
Yes.
about that.
Yeah, so fruits and veggies can be very hydrating foods. So I'm just going to give you some fun facts here. So watermelon is 90% water. Strawberries are 91% water, and cantaloupe is 90% water. And then when we on the veggie side, I just picked, a couple top three really. Cucumbers over 95% water,
Mm.
celery 95% water, and bell peppers 92% water. So you can see you can get a lot of hydration in your fruits and veggies. Um, Fresh or frozen,
For super
always.
low on the veggie side, for like low to no calories, right? On
Yeah,
cucumbers,
yeah.
celery, like we're talking very low. I mean, strawberries even very
Mm-hmm,
low, especially in terms. So you get like high volume. This goes back to tried and true nutrition, even for adults, right? Like you get high volume, fill those kiddos up, right, so they're not so
mm-hmm,
grumpy, and fill them up, hydrate them,
mm-hmm.
and you can accomplish that with those three at the very least.
Mm-hmm. Right. So you want to do fresh or frozen first because that's where you're going to get that fiber benefit and help them feel satisfied while they're getting hydrated. Plus, you have those minerals and electrolytes in your fruit and veggies. So
Mm-hmm.
potassium is really high in fruits, and then you have the minerals like magnesium and things in your veggies too. So there's obviously tons of other benefits besides hydration. But when you think about fruits and veggies for kids, obviously they're sometimes really great at the fruits, right? Because they're sweet, but veggies are naturally bitter, so they're a little bit harder. So what I do is I walk through with clients how to offer the fruits and veggies that goes with your child's food preferences. So, for example, if your child prefers crunchy foods but won't eat any veggies, how can we serve the cucumbers or the celery or the bell peppers that can encourage them? And so I'm happy to, walk through those things with you if you're struggling to expand your child's food choices. One thing I encourage you to do is take advantage of every opportunity, like eating veggies or fruit for breakfast and snacks and lunch and dinner. Because sometimes snacks specifically, we just think of the pantry foods.
Mm-hmm.
Those are not going to give us the hydration we're looking for or helping us feel satisfied. So, um, yeah, you can also go to my Instagram. I try to put these really fun 4 ways to help your child, and there's cucumbers or whatever fruit or veggie I happen to pick that day, but just as an example of kind of things you can walk through together with me if you wanted to expand your child's food choices, especially in fruits and veggies.
Look at you pushing social media. I love it. Not exactly your native language, right? Like we were
No.
talking about this before the show as well. I, for better for worse, have been in social media my whole life since it began. In 2003 with MySpace, and so it's like my second language. And you're cranking stuff out. And so if people are listening, they've got to head over and check out your Instagram. So you got to give them your Instagram handle, right?
Oh,
So
right. Yes.
Danielle Glesney _dietitian, right?
Yes.
So head over to Instagram, Danielle Glesney, GLESNE _dietitian, or just search Danielle Glesney. I'm sure it will pop back up as well. Definitely follow Danielle. Lots of helpful stuff. I see you cranking out that stuff quite a bit. So that's super fun. So, well, that's awesome. It's going to be a fun rest of the summer, obviously. And those are super practical strategies, that really everyone can deploy. And, you said it at one point. At one point we touched on it, but leading by example, right? Both on the hydration level, both on the fruits and the veggies. I was talking about this with someone yesterday. 88% of Americans do not get the recommended, right? That's different than optimal. Okay, the recommended amount of fruit, 91% of American adults do not get the recommended amount of vegetables. So, like all things, when you're like, oh, my kids really need to hydrate, chances are you, Bob, you, Sue, you need to hydrate too. And, oh, my kids need to eat fruits and veggies. Chances are, Bob, Sue, you need to eat your fruits and veggies too. So just remember that leading by example as parents is obviously going to be the most important thing. My former pastor, before we moved, not former like I left him or anything like that, but my former pastor used to always say, things are caught, not taught with children, right? And so they are catching those messages from you far more than they're going to receive what you're teaching them. So even though this episode was about, hydration and food and making water fun and fruits and veggies and all sort of stuff, just know that applies to adults too. So we're not above it. Snacking on, fruits and veggies throughout the day, sipping on your water, bringing your water bottle. Those are things that you as the parent, should really be doing as well. And you're going to set a tone for, hopefully a higher quality, more healthful journey for your kids as well. And that's what we all want as parents, obviously, is we want them to have, healthy future. And we can help them do that by leading by example. So on that front, if this has been helpful, would love for you to subscribe to the podcast. Drop us a comment or a review. Let us know how we're doing. Share it with a friend. You've got other moms in your circle. You've got other dads in your circle. Feel free to shoot them this episode. We'd love to help people as often as we can. That's why we do the podcast. Even sometimes when we take a few months off, that's why we still do it. And so if you're on social media, you can follow Danielle Glesney _dietitian on social media. We also have some Imago Nutrition platforms. You can go look and find those there. So with that, as always, we'd like to thank the band Happy Pill for our theme song, Think About Food, and we will chat soon. See ya.